Hi everyone, Rika here, and welcome to your weekly uplift from the angels. So happy that you guys are here, and today we're going to be talking about these past experiences in your life that might be looked upon as bringing you pain or being hurtful. Yet, if you actually utilize that experience to release all of the separation, the fear, the anger, and the hurt within that experience, what ends up happening is you end up receiving these beautiful gifts of surrender, these beautiful gifts of release, these beautiful gifts of aligning you even deeper, even more fully with your true self. So right now, just think about that. What's a past experience that you might have had that you really felt was hurtful or painful, and it maybe seems like, well, that was the worst thing that's ever happened to me? What do you mean it's a gift, right? What do you mean it's a great thing? What do you mean it's my ascension? Well, here's an example from my life. So a bit ago, 9 years ago, I had a boyfriend in my life. We lived together. We were building a house together. I had imagined within my imagination that we were going to be together and we were going to stay together. And the relationship ended up falling apart, actually, after having gone through cancer, which is another example of a painful moment. But what ended up happening is through that experience, I really began facing these parts of myself that were scared of somebody leaving me. Now, I don't know if you know my backstory, but my father passed away when I was 11. So men leaving me was like, of course they're going to do that, right? So what I found myself in that relationship was very slight fears, like, well, what if he goes? What if he does something else? And then my ego would always comfort itself and be like, no, he's not leaving. This is wonderful. You're wonderful. He's wonderful. All is well, right? So in some ways, in that moment when I was trying to make it okay, trying to make it fine, I was actually talking myself out of my own knowing. And also, out of the information that was coming up to be released, I was suppressing that information. So what ended up happening, it was the most painful thing I've ever been through. Imagine that. And when I went through it, I was like, whoa, this is actually more painful than cancer. Because cancer, I had kind of control over that, right? How much I processed, how much I released, how much I love myself. Like, I really got to go through that conscious journey. But when it comes to somebody leaving you, it seems like, it's they caused it, right? Because it's something that's happening outside of you. That's not really true, right? The reason why I was attracted to this particular person was because they were going to leave me, right? So with this relationship with this guy, he ended up, lying and cheating and leaving and all this stuff, like totally breaking my heart open. And what happened in that moment was, as I began processing it and doing the little one work, I began talking to my little one. I'd be like, how are you doing today? How are you feeling? And she'd be so sad and so angry and so upset. So I'd help her release all those feelings. And then the next thing that would come up was my dad leaving my little one. So it was like, oh my God, this boyfriend left me, and it's awful. Why did he go? Why did he leave me? Why doesn't he love me? And then it would be like, why did my dad leave me? Why didn't my dad love me? Why didn't my dad stay for me? And then guess what happened next? Why did God leave me? Do I deserve to be abandoned? What's wrong with me, right? So it was these 3 layers of transformation. And in feeling through and breathing through and releasing all of that information, I can tell you honestly, I'm in a completely different space when it comes to any kind of fear about being left. I don't have fear about being left. It's amazing, but inside my system, I've actually stood for more self-love in a few times in the relationship that I'm currently in, and was like, well, this is how much I love me. So you can either get on board, right? Or I'm going to have to spend more time away from this relationship. And the partner was like, whoa, okay, I love you, hold on, let's deepen my own self-love so I can be more loving with you, right? And that's completely happened. Like, he is just such a gorgeous, beautiful, loving man. But there were 2 times where that was a position where I was standing up for actually deserving more, getting to have more, worthy of more. And it was just becoming unresonant, right? So if you look at that, if I still had fear about being left, I couldn't do that. Could I? No, I couldn't do it. Exactly. So where in your world, like, think about something in your world that seemed like it was hurtful or painful from the past. And just bring that up for you. Think about what that might be. Yeah, and then what gifts did you receive from it, right? What did you learn? What did you let go of? With my ex-boyfriend, I found myself, after I processed that being left by my father, left by God, left by him, after I let that go, I avoided being left. Like, I would meet someone, we'd go on a date, and I'd be like, oh, you're just another version of him. I can feel it now. And it's like I could tell the forest from the trees. I was no longer the girl that was left, where I couldn't feel who was going to leave me. Now I was the girl that hadn't been left, and I could totally see in their field, they're planning on leaving. They're not really interested in staying, right? So I got to avoid, 3, 4, 5 of my ex-boyfriends. So what happens is it becomes this beautiful ascension path where you are resonating at a higher vibration of love and self-love, a higher awareness of yourself and what you're choosing and what you're having. And then these kind of triggering, lesson-learning relationships, they don't feel resonant with you because you've already learned the lesson. So it is actually an ascension path. So let's just leave that in your world today. What if every moment where you felt like hurt or pain, something bad happened, that really felt hurtful or painful, what was that? What if that was actually an opportunity to release that and ascend to the next level, right? And then the other question is, what gifts did I receive from this? And how did it make me choose differently? Because everything on earth is about choosing differently, right? We are going from, where humanity was choosing destruction to choosing life, choosing love, choosing to honor life, choosing to care for life, choosing to get back to our roots of organic farming and taking care of the planet, and right? So these are all the choices that we're making. And choosing to love ourselves, choosing to love our families, choosing to stand for love. There's so many choices that we get to make to actually change humanity's consciousness and to leave a legacy of love. So allow yourself to have those moments, be catalysts for you to leave a greater legacy of love in your life. All right. Okay, you guys, take care. I'll see you next week on our weekly uplift from the angels. Bye, you guys.